Welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World Resources for Living with Authenticity and Purpose. Today, I want to talk about compassionate honesty. So, I'll start by saying, have you ever needed to be honest but felt uncomfortable being so? So, let's talk about how we can be honest yet compassionate at the same time. And I'm going to say that this past week, the responses to Donald Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis have been fast and furious. Some have been very supportive, while others have not. There's a lot of banding about karma, um, and but then there was another group, and I tried to be in this group of people that took the road of neutrality. Um, but needless to say, regardless of where you were on this, it was an incredibly hot topic. And as I reflected upon my first reaction to his illness, because I will tell you it was a reaction and not a response, I asked myself how compassion would call me to respond. And a little voice inside of me whispered, with the compassion of enough plus. Now, the compassion of enough plus asks us to journey with someone who is suffering, not to enable them, but to be with them as they learn the lessons from their suffering. And so I'm the kind of person who reframes every challenge into a life lesson. It just doesn't happen. I find how I can learn from every challenge, how I can learn from my suffering. And so for me, a challenge is a situation or occurrence that calls me to use my skills and talents to live from my best self to overcome any obstacles. A challenge is simply a paving stone on the road of soul purpose. Now, challenges can be huge and life changing, or they can be small course corrections. Most challenges are found somewhere in between. So, if we return to the compassion of enough plus, that asks us to courageously and honestly confront our thoughts and feelings about any particular situation. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is to take a moment to reflect upon your strong feelings regarding the Trump diagnosis, or reflect upon something else for which you have strong feelings. It's choose something with the intent to understand the lessons the challenge is presenting. And the challenge is not necessarily what's happening to the other person. The challenge is how you are reacting or responding to what has happened to the other person. So, with compassionate honesty, name how you are feeling. And I'm going to ask you to dig deep into it. Be objective about what you find. And this means that you're not going to defend your stance. You're not going to judge where you are with it. You're just going to be. You might notice that you're attempting to defend or you're attempting to judge, but this is merely a fact finding, a gathering of information. Notice what illusions are surfacing in this at this point. Um, and maybe those illusions are saying you need to be a really, really nice person when nice really means enabling. Um, it might say other things about you that are patently untrue. Just notice what's surfacing. Now, notice the triggers that are happening without reacting. Well, this person's policies are really hurting me, so I have right to feel the way I am. It's return to the core of who you are. Realize that sometimes we get carried away by our internal monologue, even if we're not really hearing it. That monkey mind, the words that happen over and over again inside of us, carry us away. And when we get carried away, we react. But when we anchor ourselves into our core and listen to our intuition, there's really less of an opportunity for us to be carried away by the current situation. Now, what does happen is that we honestly name our triggers whenever we're really objective, and we neutralize any shame, anger, fear, or anxiety that we may be feeling. We use the power of our anger to formulate a response. And this is important. Instead of reacting out of it, we sit with it and we use the power of how we're feeling to respond. This is foundational not only to compassionate honesty, but also to the compassion of enough plus. Because it's really through this practice we say to one another, I love you enough to allow you to experience your own suffering. I love you enough to allow you to experience your own challenges and the companion suffering that come with those challenges. I stand by you while not interfering as you learn from your suffering and emerge stronger. So, the compassion of Enough Plus asks that we practice self care in ways that increase our own awareness. Only through intuitive awareness do we notice how we slip into reaction or stay strong in compassionate response. Through this, we connect to our core as we allow others to experience their challenges. Now, compassionate honesty demands that we fashion our compassion into a vessel of support. Now, this isn't about saying the right enabling words. It's about understanding that suffering has a purpose. My suffering has a purpose. Your suffering has a purpose. And within our suffering is the potential to learn our life lessons and step more securely upon the path of our soul purpose. And that's what being compassionately honest is about. It's not about enabling. It's being with people in ways that aren't hurtful, but holding them up while they're learning their lessons. So I want to thank you for listening today, watching today. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you'd like to really begin to integrate your intuitive awareness, integrate some compassionate honesty into your life, shoot me an email, send me a message. I'd love to work with you on that. More resources are available at vanessafhurst.com. That's VANESSAFHURST.com. But no matter what you do, live your life compassionately honest. Have a terrific day.